Welcome back. Today marks 35 years since the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed, impacting millions of Americans since then. Former Iowa Senator Tom Harkin was the lead sponsor of the bill, now law, which prohibits discriminating against people with disabilities. We sat down with him last month to discuss the law's impact, and through him, we were introduced to a young woman and her family in Independence who didn't listen when people tried to put her in a box.
In the heart of Independence is a coffee shop with frosted treats, a long list of drinks packed with flavor, and an atmosphere radiating warmth.
It feels almost like getting up in the morning and going to your kitchen because it's a part of the family.
And the team behind M's Coffee Company becomes like family.
Thank you.
But it's the shop's namesake, Emily Hillman,
Want it for here or to go?
who's really captured the hearts of many.
When she smiles at you, she lights up the room, so it's always a fun time to come in.
This kind of shop is just perfect for her, you know, to mingle with the people and just be part of the community.
If there's one thing you should know about Emily,
I drink chai tea, hot chocolate.
she doesn't drink coffee, but
Every morning I get ice downstairs and then I brew coffee for here or to go.
Emily is the sole owner and operator of her shop of 15 years, defying the odds placed by some people who don't really know her.
I think oftentimes there can be the perception that people with disabilities can't own their own business, and couldn't be more wrong.
Ashley Lance is Emily's older sister, who remembers life before Emily had her coffee shop.
Really the only opportunity that was discussed was having her go to like a sheltered workshop, which was fairly traditional for individuals with disabilities at that time. She decided that that wasn't what she wanted to be doing.
And her family fully and without hesitation backed Emily's decision. Self-employment became the goal.
And would be able to customize a business around what she offers the community and also what the community needs.
And at the time, First Street in Independence and the town itself, Ashley says, didn't have a coffee shop. Thus, M's Coffee Company came about, now with a team of 6 employees and, of course, Emily.
She has access to services through Medicaid and residential support services, her job coach. And so all of these supports through Medicaid allow her to live and work in her community.
And M's Coffee Company now is known by many across the nation, including
The president.
former presidents and first ladies, pictures with them lining a wall, as well as Iowa leaders. And of special note,
Senator Harkin is a dear friend of M's.
former Iowa Senator Tom Harkin.
We always know when Senator Harkin is traveling because all of a sudden there'll be a coffee order to wherever it is that he's traveling to because he's been such an incredible champion of M's story.
I always think of Emily Hillman.
With fondness and a sense of pride for her ingrained in his tone.
Here is a young person that was told all she could do was fold clothes in a sheltered workshop. But she had dreams, and she had an inspiration to do something.
And Emily did it.
If you really want to be supportive of the Americans with Disabilities Act, keep alive this concept that people with disabilities shouldn't be segregated.
M's Coffee Company touches the hearts of Iowans and people nationwide who buy her coffee, shirts, and merchandise online.
I like to be the boss.
A boss with a heart of gold who may not like coffee herself,
There you go. Thank you.
but loves serving up the warmth and happiness her coffee and shop brings to others.
The great part about M's story is that she doesn't love coffee, but the coffee shop is what the community benefits from, and also what also fits M and her personality.